Alright, the hype train has no brakes, so we're gonna hop right into vSnake's 14 Talisman run in Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. vSnake, take it away, best of luck.
Thank you, Tuber. I am happy to be here. Fourth year here. Fourth year doing Fort Talis. So, hoping for something good. Hoping I can somewhat meet the estimate. Been doing this, putting a lot of practice in. So, do I just do the countdown?
Whenever you're ready.
All right. So we're going in 3, 2, 1, go. I hope your body's ready, Spyrothon.
And welcome to 14 Talisman.
So really, here is the older way of any percenting the game. The slightly, I guess, the semi-intended, because you're really still doing a lot of crazy stuff, going out of bounds and whatnot. First thing I do is get those gems up there.
Yeah, pretty much this is the any percent before Gulp Skip was found. Ripto Skip and Crush Skip were found a long time before Gulp Skip was. In fact, I believe Ripto Skip was found before Crush Skip was even found, strangely. But yes, this will be going through all of the levels of the Summer Forest and Autumn Plains homeworlds, grabbing their talismans, and once we get into Winter Tundra, we'll be going straight to Dragon Shores and on to the final boss.
Bit of a route tweak, because I kind of did something I unintentionally did, but I mean, we pretty much got all the gems back. So what you're supposed to kind of follow a tight gem route for this whole category. 500 gems to get swim. You have 3 levels: Glimmer, Idol, and Colossus to do that, and a couple of spots in the home world. But you basically want to get enough to pay for that. That was slightly too low. That is a beetle proxy. You'll be seeing that in a minute.
Yeah, that is the first showcase of that kind of proxy. I don't think we've actually seen any of those types of proxies yet, but this is what is called a dead body proxy. So when you kill a fodder or an enemy, they'll still have a bit of a hitbox when they're dead, however you can charge through it. If you interrupt that charge for a frame, and what the game will try to do is it will try to force you out of the hitbox as soon as possible. So in that case, he's inside a hitbox that he shouldn't be able to just be neutral in. However, by interrupting the charge, he's able to get flung out of the hitbox, as well as then go straight back into charging to maintain all of the momentum the game has just given him. Therefore, sending him up into that waterfall in Idle Springs.
Actually, I should mention, so when I said I'd be buying Swim, I will not be buying Swim. That is the intended older route to do. What I'm actually doing is Theater, so it's kind of easy to get the routes confused. That's right. So it's pretty easy to get the routes confused, but for this Theater, it's kind of the go-to safer route. The more modern day route, you don't have to pay for swim. You don't swim in any of the levels. You don't need to activate swim. Technically, you do swim, but you don't have to like trigger the plane or go into the plane like in Aquaria. Yeah. You will kind of be forced into it because that's what Aquaria is like kind of based around, is hitting the buttons obviously and swimming to get out of the level and save the seahorses. So they kind of just drop you in it. You always have the ability to swim. Besides that, you're just really going through all the levels, going to the talisman, point A to point B as quick as you can, getting enough optimal gems. I can be a little more lenient in Summer Forest, but let's see. So here's where it'll differ. If I don't get Frog, I usually go for that 25. Okay, I'm just going to go up this way.
So yeah, there's quite a few things that can influence route here. Beetle Proxy and Idle Springs influenced the route and what he got there. Frog Proxy obviously doing the same now. And there's quite a lot of good gems along the pathways that we take to the talismans. We try and take as direct a line as we possibly can to the talisman, and because there's so many levels that we have access to, we're sort of able to get enough gems naturally for the 2 levels that vSnake will be buying, Zephyr and Shady Oasis.
They're a weird clip. I'm not really sure. You just kind of play on the conveyor platform thing. Kind of clip in and out, go through the little standable areas where those other conveyors are, and hop your way to the Talisman room, which otherwise you would have to open or get a bunch of spark plugs or whatever these are, kill a bunch of the henchmen, whatever their official name is, and rescue the Tom Kenny voice.
Yeah.
Whatever the trolls, the elect trolls, I should say. So Sunny Beach, kind of a crazy trick here. Big turtle proxy, turtle head. Can we get can we get some turtle head spam in the chat, or is that I think we need to get that in.
Hopefully.
So hopefully we can get this in the first 5 tries.
Yeah. This trick can be very make or break for Summer Forest. There are quite a lot of setups for this. A lot of people use sort of different setups. vSnake seems to be opting for a smaller jump.
Almost got it. Yeah, it's really confusing. Like, you just have to practice it and have a feel for it to grasp the concept of this.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I almost got it second try there. It's really, if you're just consistent and know where to go, know the placement of the ground, like just have a bunch of visual cues. That shouldn't. Oh my God.
Yeah. There's, because of all the different setups, it's actually quite a lot more consistent than you would think for the height that proxy gives you. And it is probably one of the bigger necessary proxies that this route has.
Oh, for this, necessary / run is over if you can't get it. So it's definitely the big, I guess this and sheep as well. You do need to depend on the sheep proxy in Aquaria, which we'll be getting to the end of the level as well. There, this is what we're doing here. Basically bypassing this wall. It's easy. Double jump, hover, you're in. So you need to end on Aquaria here, because if you leave while not ending on the Talisman or getting the Talisman, it will not warp you to Crush. Once you get the Talisman, you're fine. You're out of the wall area. It's still there, but it doesn't matter because we're ready.
And yeah, sheep proxy pretty much going to be about the same in terms of what the beetle proxy was, except the timing for this one is a lot different due to the differing death animations that both sheep and beetle have. So this one, you're going to be proxying a lot later after killing the sheep, compared to when you killed the beetle.
That was a good second attempt there.
Yeah. There is something that you can do which is called From the Floor. There is the first sheep on that bottom level. You can get a proxy high enough to get onto the roof, or even straight to that little passageway.
It's more, actually, it's definitely more optimal to get it as close to the ground as you can, but that's a scary situation. Usually in a run, we're not really going for that all the time. We definitely just want to make it in there. So
if you were aiming to play this as optimally as possible, you would want to be grounded for as long as possible.
Definitely. So you'd actually, to be optimal, I guess it would just be sheep from the floor. If you can't do that, get the sheep from the bottom to the top platform, immediately go for the second one. Boom, you're good. But in Crush now, since we're out of that, we're just fighting the first boss. Now there's a couple tricks here. There's a faster strategy to doing this that was kind of, I guess, credited to Tuval. Drashed, really one of the world record holder for this 100% category, and someone that really just dug deep into the details and the tricks that you can do in Spyro speedrunning about 2 years ago. Started using this in his runs. No, I was a little early on that, but I showed it off. I showed it off once at least. So I need a sheet. Right.
Yeah, depending on how consistent you are on this, it's either going to be completely safe, or in vSnake's case, it can get complicated.
Yeah.
But then the third phase is pretty simple. You just avoid the blue attack by jumping over it and flaming him.
Tried to go for the optimum zap flame there. Trying to be too optimal this run.
Trying to save frames and crush.
I'm just so out of the loop just from the 40 hour practice now. But I mean, we're getting there. This is
Crush is the same.
really not a disaster. Honestly, as far as 14 Tally and Summer Forest can go, I mean, that was okay.
Yeah.
We're moving on to Autumn Plains now. Kind of just a coast kind of world. You just go through, get all the gems, get everything. Nothing too hard after Crystal, really, until
Right.
Gulp. I mean, it's Breeze is fine. Breeze is straight
it all
through.
depends on what you go for. Really.
Yeah.
That's one of the things with this category is that you can make it easier to like, or you can make it challenging. It's all dependent on what you want to do. There's a lot of choices in this. So whether you go for like a snowball proxy here, whether you decide to do a crazy Spyro, and that's a technique that is also used in this game.
There is a crazy Sproder. I tried doing that for 40 or, but I'm just going to do this instead. This is a double jump used to skip the Sproder man. I barely got. And I got Snowball. Wow, that's something that you can show in a Spyrothon.
There we go.
I'm going to grab that. Well,
Nah.
I'm not going to grab the 5 gem. There's actually quite a few areas in Autumn Plains where there's some good gems. So.
Yeah.
I should be fine. I should be.
You're going to be doing Zephyr last then.
Ooh, I'm actually really short. Probably should have grabbed that.
You should do Zephyr last.
And what would that be? Just going to Skelos?
Yeah, go straight to Skelos.
Skelos.
Then
Okay, run me through this. This is an impromptu route. So Skelos, Breeze, Scorch.
Yeah, just follow the route normally, and then after Shady, go to Allura by Gulp and Warp.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Here you go, folks.
And this is another level which has a choice of what you can do. You can do a catback proxy here.
I went through. I guess technically, I've been told the optimal thing is just doing the wall glide there. The catbat, I was told, is technically not the most optimal, but probably the coolest way of finishing Skelos. So if you're going for the clout points in your speedruns, guys, for 14 Tally. So here, it worked out pretty well not having to go to Zephyr. I'm just going to go to Breeze. I'll pick this 5 gem up, and then I'll probably skip some gems I would have gotten in Scorch, because Shady Oasis has a lot of good gems that are not taken advantage of in 14 Tally all the time, and I think this will be the time to do it. So Breeze just finishing the level. First time I will actually go for Massless and Spyrothon. I need all the hype I can get here. So
Oh, vSnake. Massless is free. Just remember that.
Okay, we're good. Oh, I almost got the slingshot, but not really.
There you go.
Shout outs to everyone that told me to do it because it's free. I wouldn't be here without you.
So yeah, Breeze Harbor, one of the shortest levels in the run.
Yeah, you're going to go through a lot of the 1 or 2 minute, or 1 minute and a half splits here. Not much content to them. I tried to go for it fast.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of splits in a very short time period. Which is what kind of makes this category fun in a way, but then it's the case of you're looking for the smallest time saves. And that's when it gets to becoming like a drag in this category. So it's all about how far you wish to take it.
So from gem counts over the years, I have learned that's the most important thing I think with this category is, knowing your gem counts at certain points. You might be going fast, but how fast are you going if you have to detour for a bunch of gems? So always be aware. Even for a route that I haven't done like this, it's pretty simple if you just play the game enough. I probably need about close to 600 going into Shady, because Shady will cost 400 and then Zephyr will cost 400 as well. But if you stretch it enough, you can definitely get enough gems in Shady. There's plenty of 5s and 10 gems. And somewhere like Scorch here, you saw those bottles, you saw the vases I got. Plenty of good options.
Yeah, it pretty much comes with experience,
Yeah.
all like the different gems and stuff that are available to you. And every time, the gem density in this game is a lot higher than it is in Spyro 1, 3, ETB, even the GBA games. Like every level has 400 gems, but each level is also kind of small in its
I will
design.
I will agree. It gets a lot smaller the more you play it. I guess this game you might speedrun, but especially for Spyro, I feel just because of how broken the game is, it just feels like a really small game after a
Yeah,
while.
you've got proxies, double jump, you've got all sorts of different exploits and different uses of like mechanics that aren't intended. Like you can make this game a playground for tricks and routes and just showing off.
There's a couple ways to do that. Satyr as well. I didn't do it, but it's kind of hard to get a kind of a. I guess it's. I'm not really sure. I guess you're sort of bonking into him, but you're only using like the outside pixels of it. So I don't really know how to explain that trick there for the satyrs, but eventually, or pretty much just getting
Not
them.
for the orb.
Or oh, that's right. What am I doing? Whoops, guys. This is what happens when you do practice enough. All right, there. It doesn't really matter. It's like,
Yeah, you can do a sort of charge and then glide after you've hit them.
Whoops.
It's just
Okay.
a case of the game just allows you to carry on because you've hit it so thinly. Which in a way makes some good sense.
So, one of the disadvantages of running all the categories is they might blend that. Not really. I mean, not something that usually happens. But if you spend a lot of time on the game, there's just a lot of different strats that you pick up on. So, going here.
Yeah, it's all about balancing muscle memory between categories.
That's really it. That's the key of Spyro 2 and 3, I think, just because of how many different things there are. But Spyro 2 being my personal favorite to run. Magma Cone here, another straightforward level going to the end. I will not turn left. So we'll get these. I'm going to pick those up just because I really shouldn't have to worry too much about gems now.
Yeah. So this is one of the, or if not the only, case of an in-level power-up in this category. In order to get the power-ups, you need to kill a certain amount of enemies, whether that be 1, 2, 8, 10, 12, 14. Like, but the thing is most of them are used more for challenges. This one is more used for a challenge, but it's also a good way of maneuvering around the area that it's in. And because of a technique that we call superfly jumping, we can use it to get to the top of the volcano and completely skip the sort of the climb that we need to do in order to get to the top.
Okay. So we're at about 250 in gems. Makes it really easy, honestly. We'll definitely be good. Now in 40 orb, we would do somewhat kind of the same thing here, but we'd be gliding to an island to get an extra 75 gems. So again, it's a lot more tight. It's definitely tight in 14 Talisman in some cases.
Yeah, you'd be wanting to leave this level with like 280 or so, at least in 40 orb. But in this case, we aren't getting any sort of major gems after this. Like,
so Shady's a bit interesting. You need certain movement. You don't need it per se, but there is certain movement to get Shorty to move as optimally as he can. And the reason I'm flaming 2 of those berries is so he'll grab the faster berry to eat. I'm not sure if that's actually a confirmed thing, but yeah, he usually will pick up the faster, I guess, berry.
There are certain berry placements, and if the hippo that we're escorting, who we like to call Shorty, or his name is Shorty, he will go to the one that's closest to him. So if you can reduce the amount of travel time he has, then
Wow, that was a while.
everything's fine.
We're gonna take our chances here. We should have enough gems. So
Thanks for helping.
And
that is it. The T-Lamp Talisman. Each talisman obviously represented the theme, the culture, whatever you'd like to say about the level, the environment. A nice touch. You don't really see any of those brought back. And in 3, it's just eggs, so. Oh, whoops. Okay. I'm gonna grab these 2 5s for good measure.
you're talking to Aurora by Gold, remember?
Right.
That was
I'll
what
need to
you were
grab 'em.
supposed to do.
Yeah, I need to grab some of these though. So I'm just gonna go to Zephyr probably. In this case.
Yeah, it's honestly just faster now to do that. Welcome to We're Improvising.
Worked out.
A legend has thanks for the
Years of
gems, Spyro.
bingo
With all
experience vSnake has.
Yeah, I'm actually one of the weakest at bingo, so I'm surprised that went. But really weird level here. So first thing we
Yeah.
do is go out of bounds pretty much. And what I did there is pretty risky, honestly, especially for new runners. You don't want to just have a leap of faith and hope you land somewhere solid, but there is a solid area there. If you do that right, it's, I mean, almost 10 out of 10 consistency there. Another thing about 14 Talisman is how comfortable you are with a lot of the strats, and how consistent are you. So, okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is a level that is very easy to mess up.
And when you mess it up, it's usually another thing that follows it.
Yeah.
It's just how Zephyr is, but in theory,
But-
it should be easy.
We now have our 14 talismans, so we're going to be going and fighting. Probably
I'm sure-
one of the worst parts of this run.
And I'm sure this is definitely not on 27 pace. So,
So it is now time for Gulp. Gulp is an
Well,
RNG
that's fine. You'll
mess.
have to jump down the hole in the floor to get to where.
So there are 4 things. So there are 4 starting phases. You got phase 1, which is a barrel phase. Do 1 damage, and then you get to phase 2, which is a bomb phase. Do another damage then, and you get to phase 3, which is a rocket phase. After that, you then have 1 phase where it's 2 completely random drops. And then after that, it is 3 random drops.
so in that case, those barrels were on the other side of the arena. So that would have been kind of out of the way to try and go for a double there, / very hard. So we are just going to rely on the bomb drops here because it's technically faster than just waiting. That was a little risky. He was throwing those projectiles, which is, I don't know if that's RNG based or not. It doesn't happen very often.
In the bomb phase, that is all he will do.
I never knew that. There's the trivia there.
In phase 1, he will always slam. In phase 2, he will always use blasters. After that, it's up to him.
And that's a big emphasis on up to him. He will do whatever he wants in this arena.
Yeah, he can slam you, he could fire his blasters, he could go and eat the projectiles that have dropped out of the eggs.
I'm going to
Ooh,
wait.
Look at that.
Yeah, this
Good
will be the better option because I mean,
good old triple bombs.
this is okay. He just ran over everything. He doesn't always run for the I guess the fodder that's dropped, the ammunition.
Gulp, whenever there is like a line of drops and he wants to eat one of them, he'll actually target them the projectile that will allow him to destroy the most, which is weird. It's a weird sort of AI, but it's also quite intuitive.
That ended up working out. I'm just gonna do that because I'm gonna hope that like a chicken drop doesn't happen, because if it doesn't, we'll be fine. Because we're gonna go for penguin proxy and we're gonna get a sparks either way here. So we just got not a despawn, but he dropped it on Gulp, which is the dumbest thing I think. One of the dumbest mechanics. But it is what it is.
Yeah, you always want to look for double opportunities. Being able to get 2 hits in a phase or in a cycle is always a lot more rewarding.
So yeah, definitely a very awkward Gulp, but we got at it.
Sometimes you can get triple setups, whether that be like a barrel or a rocket and 2 barrels, or like a bomb and 2 rockets, or even 3 rockets.
I was gonna say the other variant is let Gulp pick one up, shoot it, hit himself, and then maybe sneak in another double somehow. Okay, that is
So quite a low
robbery.
penguin proxy, but
That's what that
there is a few places where you can stand in this little frame.
That's a shame. That's kind of stupid, honestly, because I got that. It is what it is.
So now we're gonna have to go for a backup one. And if everything fails, just do head bash skip, as vSnake expertly demonstrates.
And we'll be doing this strategy in anyway, so nice little teaser, I guess. Didn't even have to hover. That is the optimal way of going into Dragon Shores, by about a second, half a second to a second, I believe. By other than going around safely.
It's a lot more risky than the normal way, but if you've got it down, then you're generally quite safe. And now
So
we're going to grab the infinite fireball power up.
I am not doing the coaster skip here because I think we've already seen enough time lost. Oh no. So this is getting on the wall. Very, not tricky, but very precise at times. And at other times it's first try almost every time. The Spyro Man, honestly the easier part. Just Spyro around the mountain. It looks kind of difficult, but it's really not. You just need to get a rhythm going. I'm sure there's some kind of song. If you have a song that you like to Spyro Man to, tell me in the chat, please. But it's just fine. It's rhythmically pressing X and square to gain height. You're technically, I guess, double jumping along the wall. I don't know the other way to describe it, really.
And the level that he's actually in right now, that was the completion bonus. If you beat Ripto, you actually unlock that level called Dragon Shores. What he just did was he got the infinite fireball, which is the 100% bonus. You get fireball for every area in this game, every level,
That was
at every moment. And then he also did theater, which has a trigger which removes all money bags from the game. It gives you all the abilities and unlocks all levels that must be paid, and also gives you all your gems back that you paid for there. But now with a swim in air, we have done Rip the Skip, and it is time for final boss, which is easy.
To say the least. It's really just aiming, because you have Fireball, you can't really avoid it. And you don't really have to worry about any of his pattern, Mecha Vault, anything like that. I got the skip, that was a great skip, cutscene skip. So technically, you can just shoot a Fireball behind you, because the level's already loaded. It's just kind of re-warping Ripto into like that model, I guess. Of him on the Gulp. Same thing here. He's just warped into the third phase. I guess the third phase is the best. The phases is the best way to put it. I'm actually not the best at this boss fight, so this is going pretty well.
Yeah, this third phase is a lot about like reading your shots, knowing where Ripto will go in terms of trying to evade, and just knowing generally
Time.
what he does.
And that was great. Sorry, I skipped Ripto dying. PG, but that is it. We just saw this cutscene. We're seeing it again, legit. And what you actually get from defeating Ripto is extended sparks range and all the abilities that you had gotten before. So, in order to really beat the game, that's really how you do it.
Yeah.
I guess besides the 80%, that is 14
Think it's ever
talisman,
thank you enough,
and
Spyro?
a little rough, but we got there. That was pretty good, and I'm glad y'all could be here. I'm glad Yeswally1 had stayed up.
And that's the Wally block all finished.
That is, you'll not be hearing his voice. Wonderful.
Alright, GG's vSnake, and thank you so much, Wally, for all the commentary you've been offering to us. That was a sick run. I love 14 Tally. It's dope. And up next, we actually have Wed is coming back on stream to do OG Spyro 3 149 egg. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Thanks again, everyone.